Good morning, everyone. It's May 20th, 2025, 9:43 in the morning. Just looking at what the market is going to give us today. So SPY is an inside bar. It is inside yesterday's candlestick. Pre-market high 594, pre-market low at 592. We are in this consolidation for a while. Tesla is very volatile today, so it just reached that 354 and then now back at 350, having that support at that level at 349. So very strong Tesla here. Let's put our level in the pre-market low with a pre-market high of 348. Let's see if that will have a strong support at 348. All right. Having another pullback there with Tesla. So what I've been looking at is a potential for a pullback for SPY. So I did start a small options trade here in SPY at 593, waiting for a bigger move down. Let's see here. So SPY. So we have our 593 options trade here, trying to see if that will give a nice breakdown to 593. $593 with SPY is actually acting as a support there. So let's see. But it keeps getting sold at that moving average. So just added to that small position of being short SPY. Tesla having another pullback. 347 now. Let's see if Tesla will find a support here. So Tesla just broke that support 348. Looks like it's heading to 347 here. Nvidia having a pullback. So Tesla just broke that support 348. Looks like it's heading to 347. Added to that position. Nvidia having a pullback. Added to that short of SPY. So waiting for another leg down here with SPY. So SPY, we're waiting for another leg down, but we are trailing our stop loss here. All right, looking for another leg down here for the market. Very close. All right, market bouncing all out there. Tesla here having a support at 345. 345 support on Tesla. 346. 347 potential for Tesla. 345 Tesla having another leg down here. Trying to see if Tesla will have a support here. So Tesla having a support at the 345.5. Volume bar is dying when it's pushing down. Looking at the tape and the level 2 here. 345. Looks like it's about to break 345 here for Tesla. 345, there are some orders at 345, 344. So started a small position here, option trade on Tesla. Trying to trail down my stop loss here with Tesla. Tesla 345. Now doing a long in Tesla. Doing a small long in Tesla. Trying to see if Tesla have found a support at 145. That's the thing about options trade with Tesla, and they are very pricey. Trying to add to that long position on Tesla. Just trying to be very careful with this because it is very volatile. So this one, let's see Tesla here. Yeah, Tesla having a support at 345. So Tesla is up by $3.06. Very volatile. Another pullback here. Look at how volatile this stock is. Support is 345. Let's see the support. That's that low 343. Trying to see if Tesla is able to get that support at 344. Next support here. $343 is the support. Support 344.5. Looks like it's about to test the support again, 343. Let's look at a higher time frame. Higher time frame is just weak. Look at how volatile that stock is. That's why if you're gonna be doing an options trade, you're better off just taking 2 contracts or 4 very small contracts. So looking at the tape here, as well as the level 2, there's no imbalance in the level 2. But we have to consider that Tesla had been running for how many days now. So if Tesla has a pullback, that's actually could happen as well, because for the past couple of weeks, it's just ripping higher. All right, there is orders right here to 344.50. So this is gonna go 344.50. Let's see if that wall is now clear. Look at that. So we're talking about the moves of 345. Wow. Let's see if this is gonna hold that support. 70.68. $9 acting as a support. one was a big volume bar. This one covering there. Big volume bar came through it. Tesla back at 340, almost 344.85. Tesla having a support at 344, 345. Just added to that long position in Tesla. Big rejection again at 345. Looking at the tape here, 345. We are back at that support at 345. $345. Looking at the 15, we got a support at 342. Getting close to getting stuff out of this Tesla. Tesla is just consolidating at that 344. So looking at the stocks here, not just the options chart, it is getting stuck at 344.16, but it looks like it's about to test the support again at 344. SPY is just consolidating. retesting that support. Tesla back in 344. What is that? We have 10 seconds before the next 5 candlestick in Tesla forms. Tesla below R3. Apple is bouncing. What else is bouncing? Rivian is amazing. Rivian is at 17. Alright, Tesla bouncing here. 345 now at Tesla. Adding to that long on Tesla. So stop loss here is 8.82. Tesla now is back at 345, but still is weak. Not a lot of volume bar here when it's pushing up, so we do have to consider that. Strong resistance at 345.46. Looking at the level 2 here, there are some orders now stocking at 345. So 345.7080s. They're pushing this one to 345. There you go. Big resistance at 345. $345 resistance again. Big order at 344.50. 1007. Rejection again there. Stop loss there. There's a dip at 343, was bought. Look at that big rejection at 344. Not a lot of volume bar here. This could just be some profit takers. Lots of orders sitting right here at the bid, so that's very bearish. Let's see if this is gonna start me out. SPY is just consolidating still. Rivian looks like it's gonna test the support again. $344. Just broke 344 as support. 343. Yeah, Tesla just looks weak today. 343, 70s, 50s. Let's see if this is gonna stop us out. Big order 342 here. Look at how volatile that thing is. So volume bar is dying here, but there's just not a lot of buyers stepping in, although there is a buyer of 380 shares at 344.55. So we were so close to getting stuff out there, but yeah, Tesla is just not showing any signs of strength yet. There's a big order here at level 2, 344.50. But yeah, Tesla is just not. Times it. Big order 344.50. SPY is respecting the support 592. Let's see if Tesla is able to respect that 343.50 support as well. See the 15 minutes. 15 minutes is just consolidating, so nothing there. Although what we can see here is the lowest of this candlestick is higher than this lowest. So lowest level for now is 342.91. Rivian is amazing. All right, 345. There are some orders sitting now at 345. So let's look at the tape here. This is gonna print 345 if they don't cancel that 60s. What happened to that? 345 is there still. 90s. Back in 344.50. All right, next. There's not a lot of volume. So we have a doji here, signs of indecision. Nvidia pushing higher, and SPY is just consolidating. $345. There are some orders at 345 here. This is taking longer than usual. 345, there you go. That's the pushed. So signs of indecision here, 15 minutes. But at least it's a green candlestick. Better than this big pullback. Let's see what SPY is doing now. SPY is just having that inside bar. Yeah, that's the thing with SPY having an inside bar. Expect a choppy market, just like what we're seeing now. All right. 345, rejection there at Tesla. There's just a massive order that came through at 354. Nvidia having a leg higher. Arabian here is amazing. Look at this one. For more than a week, it's just ripping higher. All right. Tesla having a curl here. Alright, there are some orders sitting at 345.30. There is a big order at 345 though at the bid. So that's very bearish. 345. Did it get filled? Not yet. 345 at the bid is still there. That is 10,000 orders at 345. Wow. All right, 346. All right. There you go. That's the move that we're waiting for. Excellent. Waiting for a bigger move from Tesla. We are at 346 now. 346. Right, Tesla curling up here. Some resistance at 346.33. Took some partial there. Alright, Tesla here curling up. $347. $47, still pushing higher. $347, they are pushing it to 347.20. Okay, it's now at R4. R4 here, waiting for another leg higher than R4 there. Okay, 346, up by 1.4%. 347. $347, there you go. $347, let's see. All right, 347, that's the next support. 347 here. 347 acting as a resistance there. $347, big order right there. 347.20. Tesla having the R4 as a resistance there. $347, bunch of orders here now. $347, they're pushing this one. $347. $347. $10.70. Waiting for a push higher on Tesla. Tesla consolidating at 346. Went all the way up to 347. See if Tesla can push higher. $347, they're pushing this higher. Resistance at 347. $347, lots of orders at 347. There you go, pop at 347. $347. Resistance at 347. All right, pushing higher, 347. Let's see the 5 minutes. Big resistance 347. There is a bunch of order at 347 here. Okay, SPY having a pullback here. Big pullback, SPY. Consolidation again, Tesla. Look at how, it's just amazing how volatile that Tesla is. That's a big drop. Very close to getting stop out from that last remaining shares. R3 acting as a support here, giving it just a couple of cents. Support here is at 344. Rejection again, 346. Nvidia pushing higher. Volume bar is dying when we're pushing down. So what we're trying to see is this a sign of sellers getting exhausted? Because when we're pushing down, the volume bar is dying. So what we're waiting for is a reversal here to the upside, where this low of this candlestick is lower than this is lower than this, and definitely lower than this. So the trend is there is a reversal trend there, but we're just stuck in this consolidation for now. So $346. Or they're stocking at 346. So 30 minutes, looks like it's a reversal there. Alright, SPY pushing higher here after that consolidation. Will it test that high of yesterday? We'll see. Okay, we're back here, 346.50. 15 minutes looking strong. We're just waiting for more volume though. That's the thing that's lacking in this. And that's the reason why we are just still in that consolidation. Alright, interesting enough, when SPY is breaking out, look at this one, look at Tesla is just moving very minimally. Missing still, volume bar. Waiting for a SPY is, what's the next level on SPY? We have a resistance at 594. The next one there is 594. Tesla here. Still missing some volume bar there, but Tesla is up by 1.3%. $15 minutes in Tesla. Looks good. SPY touched that resistance, 593.93. Tesla here, another rejection at 347. Alright, 346.60s. Let's see if Tesla can break that resistance now, 347. Alright, 347. Let's see if Tesla can break that 347.16 ceiling. Resistance again 347. Alright, SPY. So let's dissect what happened with SPY. SPY here, what happened here is there is a big resistance here. There are a bunch of stop loss that got hit here. So those who were short needed to cover, and hence there's the pop. Resistance again at 347. But now that resistance, buyers are stepping in here at 346.10. So we tested this level at 10:15 at the 15-minute candlestick. Let's see if it can break that level now. Let's look at the volume bar here. Look at how strong that resistance is. That resistance had been tested a couple of times here. $10.15. Volume bar still not there, but higher highs or higher lows. SPY is strong here. SPY here, creating a new high of day. New high of day for SPY. For the 650. Alright, interesting here is this one is 347.09, 346.99. So it's not even as close to the high of this candlestick. Orders here, 346.50. Resistance again, 347. Nvidia at S4 now, very nice bounce. here, 346.1. SPY still heading a leg up. See what, yeah, just a bunch of consolidation here. So we're inside bar of this previous candlestick. We are close to that VWAP on Tesla. Pull back here on Tesla, SPY as well. 346. Nvidia is already on top of the VWAP. Let's see if Tesla is able to go above VWAP here. Next support here, 345.50. Pulling back here. Alright, next support here, 345. $45.80. SPY found the support 593.58. There's a big pullback there. All right, another 5 minutes, about to form. That was a huge buyer stepping in here, 345.36. This is just taking longer, 346. All right, that's very bullish here for the 5 minutes. 15 minutes looking bullish as well. Now, the thing here is if it retests again this support, then our thesis is invalidated. Okay, so SPY is still down by $1.13. Tesla, just a bunch of consolidation here. Big resistance at 346 here in Tesla. There's a huge move down on Tesla. 345. Let's see if it's gonna break that support. Looking at the 15 minutes. 345.51. SPY as well. The drop. SPY pulling back. SPY is at the VWAP. Let's see if the rest of our shares is going to be step out in Tesla. SPY is still having a pullback. See 45.2. SPY here having another leg down. Wow. Let's see if the remaining shares will get filled. SPY dropping. Big drop on SPY. Interesting enough, Tesla is not having that big drop. So SPY had a big drop. 594, 592. Tesla did not have a big drop. It actually got bought at 345. Alright, let's see if SPY is gonna have a continuous drop here. Tesla, interesting enough, is getting bought here, having that support at 345. Look at this support here with 208 shares or 208,000 shares. A lot of volume bar here at that red candlestick. SPY did, let's see, still heading lower. This is the pre-market low here on SPY. Tested that pre-market low, and before it had that bounce. Tesla here having the support at 345. Time is it? 11. Look at this, just bunch of consolidation with Tesla. Just a very small share size here. SPY, let's see if SPY will have a continuation of that pullback or of that drop. Tesla here getting bought at that 345. It's now at 10. SPY right, what did SPY? SPY is currently at the VWAP, had a pullback here, and then a bunch of profit takers, and then now looks like ready for another leg down. Tesla here is just back in that consolidation. The 5 minutes, let's see, had that support at 345. Let me just clear some of these levels here. There's just too many. All right, so the support here is that 345.2. Another resistance here in SPY. It is at the VWAP. Tesla here, 5 minutes. Let's look at the 30 minutes. 30 minutes is just a bunch of consolidation. So yeah, at this point, we're just waiting for the decision for Tesla. SPY is close to that 592.50 support. SPY found support there, 592. Tesla here, let's see if it can test now 347. Right, Tesla. I'm waiting for Tesla to break 347. SPY having a pullback at the VWAP. Okay, we're back at that resistance 346.65. Those who have a stop loss at 347.16, once this hits the 347.16, if it ever goes there, then that could be a massive move there because a lot of stop loss can be hit. If we go there. Rivian having a support at R2. Let's look at the volume bar here. Volume bar in 1 minute. Look at that massive move. It's a big order, 257,000 shares. All right, SPY looking strong here at the 5 minutes. All right, Tesla, bunch of orders sitting at the ask. There's 347 at the ask. This could be a bull flag pattern. A big order here at the pullback. If there's a big order at the ask, that could be someone stepping in to buy it. So we've been in this range for the last, and is this 10:15? For the last hour, we've been in this range. SPY found the support at 592. Let's see if Tesla can sustain that strength. All right, SPY moving higher here. This is where the shakeout happens. Just be just a bunch of algos as well. So right now we're just hearing the news, and let me just share that news. It's just Bloomberg.
Starlink being a prime example of that, and the number of countries that are keen to get a slice of Starlink action and give him access to their jurisdictions for Starlink. I think there is something totemic about Tesla, and I think it came out in that, how keen he is for the brand to regain ground everywhere. Whether or not he can do it in Europe, I don't know.
Michelle, kind of, through the election and up in the first couple of weeks of the administration, Elon Musk was everywhere in every photo op and every video clip. And then he's really kind of gone radio silent for the last month or two. Where do you think how do you think this is going to play out over the coming weeks and months with him in terms of, I don't know, re-engaging?
Well, I think those Q1 sales figures at Tesla really forced that, but I wonder if, again, not that he bit off more than he could chew, but politics and government is a very different world. And I think it's probably of mutual benefit that he and the president have been, much less visible at each other's side. I'm sure they are still very close, although Elon Musk has been public about his differences with Peter Navarro. And in many ways, where the tariff argument has ended up is much more in the Elon world and to Elon's worldview on trade rather than the Peter Navarro world. But I think what he said about political donations and less political spending in future will be looked at with interest in other countries as well. In the UK, for example, where Donald Trump is close to Nigel Farage, there would have been a lot of interest in whether at some point Elon Musk finds a way to donate to a UK political party, i.e. finds a UK entity to enable that kind of donation to take place. Remember, he's been seen a lot with the AfD leader in Germany. So I do wonder whether this intent and his words on political donation have implications beyond the US.
All right, Michelle, we got to leave it there. Thank you so much. Really great stuff. Michelle Hussein, thanks for joining us. Editor-at-large for Bloomberg Weekend. Also, to stay tuned for Bloomberg for everything from the Qatar Economic Forum. Really wonderful interviews there. All right, John Creekmore is coming up, Chief Investment Officer at Creekmore Wealth Advisors. What do you do in these markets when they're doing a whole lot of nothing? And Tyler Kendall will give us the latest from Capitol Hill. She's Bloomberg Television Washington correspondent as we have President Trump roaming the halls of Capitol Hill. This is Bloomberg.
markets, headlines, and breaking news 24 hours a day at Bloomberg.com, Bloomberg Television, and the Bloomberg Business app. This is a Bloomberg Business Flash.
And I'm John Tucker in the Bloomberg Newsroom. This Bloomberg Business Flash being brought to you by Oracle. Attention growing businesses. Oracle is offering to cut your current cloud bill in half if you move to Oracle Cloud Infrastructure. This is for new U.S. customers with minimum financial commitments. See if your company qualifies at oracle.com/Bloomberg. The major stock averages are pushing modestly lower right now, but the Russell, which is the mid-cap stocks, that index has just turned higher just by a point or so. During the past 22 sessions, the S&P 500, just parenthetically, has gained on 18 occasions. Among some of the individual movers, you have D-Wave Quantum. That is soaring. It released its latest quantum computing system. The company says this thing can solve complex problems beyond the reach of classical computers. Most of the big tech stocks are dropping, although Tesla is bucking the trend. Shares of Tesla right now in the Mag 7, those shares up 1.2%. You heard Elon Musk here on Bloomberg Radio saying he's committed to leading the company as the CEO in 5 years' time. Home Depot shares also on the move, keeping its guidance for the fiscal year as U.S. sales ticked up. Companies in the travel industry, they're falling. Some of the worst losses in U.S. stocks today. You have downs continuing about how much U.S. households will be able to spend on vacations. Airbnb dropping, Norwegian Cruise Lines, that's also falling, along with Carnival Cruise shares. Carnival shares down 1.6%. As we look at treasuries right now, the 2-year yield down a basis point, 10-year 2 basis points higher, and the 30-year up 6 basis points. That is at 4.96. I just wanted to break this news for you. Republican Representative Mike Lawler, this is one of the congressmen from New York. He says he is, in his words, not budging, end quote, on his lack of support for President Trump's tax bill. And of course, Paul, you know, being from a high tax state, this all has to do with SALT, the state and local tax deduction. Yep. Lawler and other members of the GOP from high tax states want that raised. Yep. And it doesn't look like President Trump is budging at this point. Okay. Anyway, we check the markets for you all day long right here on Bloomberg Radio. I'm John Tucker. That's your Bloomberg Business Flash.
All right, John Tucker, thank you very much for that. We appreciate it. Alex Steele and Paul Sweeney live here in our Bloomberg Interactive Brokers studio in New York City. And we're streaming live on YouTube as well. John Creekmore joins us. He is Chief Investment Officer, Creekmore Wealth Advisors. John, my notes say you're from Morton, Illinois. Is that right?
Morton, Illinois, the self-proclaimed pumpkin capital of the world.
There you go. That's awesome. Now, I have to admit, John, I had no idea where Morton, Illinois was, so I Google mapped it just a minute ago. You guys are right outside of Peoria, Illinois. So there is nobody more middle American than folks from Morton, Illinois and Peoria, Illinois.
The salt mines.
Exactly. Do the good folks out there, do they care about tariffs and stuff like that?
I'll tell you, care mightily. So Caterpillar Incorporated was actually founded in Peoria, Illinois.
Awesome.
There's about 85,000 employees of Caterpillar right here, just right across the river from where I sit. And obviously a large portion of their sales come over different parts of the world and over into China. And so obviously we care mightily about tariffs and how it plays out as far as our own economic security right here in Central Illinois.
How do you, John, then, as you think about, when you talk to your clients, think about putting the tariff discussion and maybe some of the economic uncertainty that might result from a tariff world, how do you put that into your investment discussion?
You know, it's been so interesting to watch over the last year, especially as we saw more discussion, even last year in the election cycle, about trade imbalance, about different methods to utilize and bring this trade imbalance into probably proper perspective. And one of the ones talked about was the blunt instrument of a tariff. And a lot of folks did not have much knowledge or background of tariffs, except for their remembering of Ferris Bueller's Day Off, and as far as the discussion of tariffs in that movie. And so not real academic there, but all of a sudden then they recognize this could be a big deal for them as far as inflation. It could be a big deal for them as far as overall economic certainty. So we really encourage everybody to take a step back. Let's look at long-term goal objectives. Ask yourself, are you an investor or are you a trader? And then based upon your answer on that, you can make decisions to make money in any environment. However, it's a little bit different methodology. So number one was back in April, we encouraged everyone, actually before that, back in the middle of February, we saw the market hit an all-time high. and encourage everyone to say, hey, stay calm. There's going to be some uncertainties and some storms coming about. We want to make sure we make logical decisions based upon facts. And whenever we saw the tariff announcement hit on April the 2nd, it caused a lot of emotion and a lot of uncertainty. We know the markets do not like uncertainty. So we encourage them, let's allow this to play out. Let's look for opportunities in the carnage. Let's try to find ways to make money in the midst of. And sure enough, whenever more information came out, cooler heads prevailed, and we saw the markets bounce back, actually up 22% from that low that we saw on April the 10th.
So what are some of the companies that you like? Top pick.
I'll tell you, top pick right now is I love Leidos. Phenomenal company. Relative strength has been moving very mightily there. Strong moat as far as in the technology space of defense and as far as in medical research and development. And so love Leidos and have been early on investor in that earlier this year. And it's been a strong performer. You know, we actually look for opportunities. Right now, we saw tremendous opportunities overall in the tech space with the sell-off there in April. And so big names in there, Snowflake, DDOG, were a couple that we actually loaded up on early on, and very happy for those investments.
Hey, John, I have to ask for a friend here. Enbridge. That's a name on
He's
on
hooking
your
me up
list.
on this one.
So talk to us about energy and Enbridge.
You know, Enbridge is very interesting. And so when we look at energy, we look at what part of the energy sector that they are in. And so we know for sure, as far as a lot of the oil companies, the Shells, the BPs of the world, the Exxons, the Mobils, they all saw some tremendous price pressures as far as on their equity prices. Whenever we saw the price of oil drop down, and yet at the same time, those involved in distribution, such as Enbridge, they're actually held very well. Their dividend is very strong. And so no matter what happens in the economy, we know they'll still be moving oil through pipelines and through other distribution channels. And Enbridge has been a long-term player in that. So we see them as a strong cash position, very low long-term debt. It's a great value holding. If you have uncertainty as far as in the economy, those type of companies such as Enbridge really play out well.
All right, John, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. John Creekmore, Chief Investment Officer, Creekmore Wealth Advisors, Morton, Illinois. Check it out, folks, just outside of Peoria. Again, it doesn't get any more middle America than that. Let's head back down to Washington, D.C. We've heard from President Trump a lot. He's been in the Capitol this morning, meeting with members of Congress, talking about the tax bill and policy and some of the spending plans. Tyler Kendall's there, a Bloomberg Television Washington correspondent. I believe she is right out in front of U.S. Representative Mike Lawler's office. And Mike Lawler looks, as John Tucker was just reporting, to be a pivotal person in this whole negotiation. What's the latest from Capitol Hill, Tyler?
Yeah, hey, Paul. So Congressman Mike Lawler came out of this meeting with President Trump and told reporters that he's not going to budge on his position when it comes to lifting the SALT cap. Now, yes, we are here in front of his office. For our radio listeners, you can probably, they're behind me, American flags, New York flags, as we wait to see if he's going to come back out and gaggle with us reporters on any further details. Now, we knew going into this meeting that these SALT Republicans from these high-tax states like New York, New Jersey, and California would be put on the defensive because President Trump seemed to downplay lifting the SALT cap going into this meeting. As he arrived on Capitol Hill, he ultimately said that he thinks lifting it would benefit blue states with high tax policies. Now, these lawmakers, though, are really digging in. The current proposal would lift the cap from $10,000 to $30,000, and these lawmakers say that they want to see more than that, and they do have some leverage here. One, these Republican moderates really did help House Republicans clinch the majority that they now are able to utilize to pass this reconciliation package on this fast-track way. And the other is that if they let the 2017 tax cuts expire, then the SALT cap would end up being unlimited.
What are the chances that there is any movement from Lawler on the SALT bill? I mean, President Trump can be very persuasive, and he's on Capitol Hill to get that done.
Right, exactly. That's going to be the big question that we're watching here. Right now, there are about 5 holdouts from the SALT caucus that will not vote for this bill as it is currently written, raising that cap up to $30,000. And when we look at the math, House Speaker Mike Johnson has very slim margins. He can only afford to lose 3 Republican votes. One of them is already a done deal, already a firm no. That's Thomas Massie of Kentucky. He's a fiscal hawk that says that he will not vote for any legislation that's not at least deficit neutral. And of course, we are a long way from that with this current bill. So we're going to have to see what sort of compromises actually look like. We're talking here when it comes to salt about potentially income limits, phase outs, and then what would look like when it comes to potentially snapping that salt cap back down after a certain amount of time. So there does seem to be potentially some wiggle room here that lawmakers can work with. But President Trump, according to Republicans in the room, said that his message was clear. They want them to stop messing around when it comes to the salt cap so that they can advance this bill forward just quickly. Of course, the other side of this is that fiscal hawks also don't want to see the salt cap moved because at this point they are looking for some of those more savings policies when it comes to spending cuts and revenue raisers to offset any increase to the cap.
Tyler, what's, I guess, the next step here? I kind of remember somebody talking about Memorial Day being a date that we need to pay attention to. What are the next steps in the calendar?
At this point, House Speaker Mike Johnson does say that they are on track to pass this by Memorial Day. We're going to have to see what ends up happening because the next vote is in the Rules Committee, and that is Wednesday at 1 a.m. Eastern. They did it early to comply with some of the procedural rules here on Capitol Hill in a bid to try to get this to a full House floor vote by this Thursday. Now, importantly, in that Rules Committee, there are two fiscal hawks that sit on it that could really have some sway here, and that's Congressman Chip Roy, as well as Ralph Norman. Now, the latter has indicated that he's going to let the bill pass through rules because this is more of a procedural vote. And then that indicates to us that there likely would be a bigger conversation, a bigger fight perhaps, once that bill does make it down to the House floor in full. As I mentioned, Mike Johnson, slim margins, can only afford to lose 3 Republicans on the way.
What are the Democrats doing right now?
That is a good question. They're trying to counter message this. Of course, how this worked is because they are choosing to fast track this through reconciliation. They do not need to ultimately negotiate with Democrats, but they do have to negotiate with themselves and between the chambers. We haven't even started talking about how all of this is basically going to change once the Senate gets its hands on this legislation. But Democrats really are trying to coalesce around this idea that there are going to be impacts to Medicaid. One analysis that Bloomberg News cites that when you move up
All right, so what time is it? 11:35 in the morning. Good morning, everyone. Took longer today than usual, but we're going to be doing a recap. So I do have a small open position at Tesla long at call at 3:45. Let me share that screen. So we did a couple of options trade today. So first is we did an options trade on SPY, options trade on Tesla, as well as short and a call or being long Tesla. So with SPY, what we saw with SPY was a potential for a short. So what SPY has been doing is just consolidating. And that's the reason why we have a very small share size with SPY. So with SPY, I bought a put, meaning I am short bias SPY that expires 593, build up a position and was able to capture that move. So 141, sold it at 181 and all out at 1.7. So this just 180 profit there. And then Tesla, I was short there. This one is an asterisk. So I was short, meaning I was buying put. So what I saw with Tesla was a potential for a drop right here. So this one is just a very small share size. I bought it at 9.8, sold at 10.15, gave us a profit of 50. Now long Tesla here, what I saw was some consolidation that happened. So Tesla has been having lots of consolidation now, but at the open it had this massive drop, and then I bought it. So Tesla long, that one was at 950. So at 950, the chart looks like 950 right here. So 950, you have a almost like a hammer looking and just managing a share size. It is a call at 345, meaning we are long bias on Tesla. So bought it here and just building up that position. So initial entry is at 10.22, was able to sell it at 10.73. So with that 50 cents, remember that it is times, multiply it by 100 shares, and we are able to get 1,500 out of that. Right now we have 6 shares left and it's making 120. We are waiting for that 347 to be broken, and it's retesting that again. So that's where this 180 average cost is 10.15, share size is 6. So we're waiting for that leg up. So we're a little shy of 2K today. Still has 6 shares left in Tesla, but yeah, just managing that small position. So with that, I hope you guys had a green trading day. And yeah, we just did options trade today. Just wanted to minimize the risk, just because SPY is an inside bar. Inside bar SPY means it's just playing inside this previous daily candlestick, and that can be very hard to trade. That's why we just stick to our options trade. So with that, I hope you guys had a green trading day, and we'll do this again next week. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. And looks like Tesla just broke that level, which we were so patient in waiting for that. So yeah, just taking some partial there with Tesla. Not a lot of share size left, and okay, not a lot there, but it's just good that finally it broke that level, because it took a while for that Tesla to broke that 347, but we were so patient for that move that it took us even more than an hour. That's why I just decided to let's just do our recap now, because it's taking forever. And with this, let's just make sure that our stop is behind that move. SPY. Let's see if SPY is, yeah, SPY now looks weak. Look at how volatile this Tesla is. Alright, SPY is getting into this very interesting level. So yeah, with that, we are closing the day with a 2K. So totally out of that position in Tesla. And that gave us almost 2K there with a total of 2,200 today. So I hope you guys had a green trading day. We'll do this again next week, Tuesday. And again, I hope you guys had a green trading day. And yeah, we'll see you guys soon. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.